Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hartz, and today I'll be breaking down the 7-game NBA slate we have here on DraftKings. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. I'll be going through my favorite spin-up plays, some mid-range plays we can look to, and some value plays for tonight's slate. Once again, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the slate breakdown. Since it is NFL Sunday, I'm going to make this a pretty quick breakdown. Just because I know a lot of people aren't going to, be playing the NBA today, but there will still be some people playing. So I'll have this video out for them. I got you guys. On Charlotte, it's pretty easy. Either get to Rozier or Hayward. Oubre, Washington, Plumlee, they're all worth a tournament option if you really want to get to them, but it's pretty much Rozier and Hayward for me. They're the two main guys when it comes to scoring and kind of handling the ball. Everyone else is kind of just secondary plays. You could look to McDaniels as a value play there at 4,200. Don't really feel safe about it because the minutes are trending down now that Gordon Hayward's back. Same thing with Theo. You could always take a shot on Plumlee, getting in foul trouble and play Nick Richards. That kind of happened last game against Cleveland. It also went into, I think, overtime. So that really helped out. But yeah, not a lot to love on that Charlotte side besides the main two guys. On Washington, everyone's just priced up way too high for me. Porzingis has upside still. Him, Beal, and Kuzma, I'd say Porzingis and Kuzma have the most upside just because Beal just really hasn't flashed it this year. He's been more of just a playmaker. So at the respective prices, not much interest. They're all priced up really too high for me. Only interest I have is in if Morris is in or out. If he's in, I don't mind getting into him at 4,900. He could get you into the 35 fantasy point range. Could see about 30 minutes because they are kind of short on guards. So if he's in, do like him a good amount. If he's out, do like, Goodwin or whoever would be that starting guard for them. I think that'd be really my only interest. Rui, Denny, they're going to see like 15 to 25 minutes off the bench depending on how they're doing. That's really it. Kispert, Barton, same thing. Just not a ton of interest on the Washington side. Detroit side, very short-handed. Cade's still out. Stewart's out. Sadiq Bey is now out. So, we're going to get Ivy, Bogdan. I think I prefer Bogdan. He's just a little bit more consistent. I wouldn't say he has as high of a ceiling as Ivy, but I do think they're both pretty solid. Sacramento has been blowing out people recently, so maybe there's a little bit of blowout risk, but that really shouldn't affect either one. Killian Hayes looks pretty solid there. Price is a little bit too cheap. Not really sure why all these guys are really priced down. So I do have a good amount of interest in Killian Hayes. Alec Burks, he looks very solid as well. 4,600. Talked about if he's going to get 20 plus minutes, close to 25. He looks very, very good. Bagley only saw 23 minutes, but still I do think you could take a shot here. 4,400. Not a lot of guys that could play. Maybe Bagley would still get benched or, lose minutes. Who knows? But Duran's also in play. He looks very solid. I really like everyone on this Detroit side, at least one or two pieces, especially whoever's going to start alongside or kind of fill in for Sadiq Bey. I would assume it'd be Isaiah Lewis. He's kind of a little bit scoring dependent, but if he's going to go out there and get 25 minutes, 20 to 25 at 3,200, he should be able to pay off that price tag. Maybe they dust off Hamadou. He played 20 minutes last game. Maybe he plays around 20. He's also a decent point per minute guy. So, yeah, a good amount of interest in these Detroit guys. On the Sacramento side, it's a great matchup for guys like Sabonis and Fox, but just not a ton of interest just because of their price tags. They're a little too priced up for me. Moving down to that 6K range, Herter, solid, but as I said, he's a guy who can either go out there and shoot 7 to 10 and get you like 30 to 35 fantasy points. Maybe a little bit more if he's doing well in the peripheral stats. Otherwise, I played him last slate, or I picked his prize pick last slate, and he screwed me. He missed by like 2.5. He shot 3 of 11. So, yeah, he's just more of that tournament option there. Malik Monk, same thing. If he's in, he's one of those guys can get very hot off the bench. 5,400 is a great price for him. Harrison Barnes, don't really think you need to go there. Keegan Murray, if he's back, obviously it's a downgrade to Harrison Barnes. So it looks like he's going to be back. I don't mind getting him at 4,800. That's a solid price tag for him. If the game blows out, he should still see some run. Terrence Davis got the start because of Keegan Murray. He was horrendous. Only played 15 minutes. So, yeah, not much interest in this side. Trey Lyles minutes should go down. Maybe he still sees about 15 minutes. But, yeah, it's really just Keegan Murray and Malik Monk if they play. If Malik Monk's out, obviously you could look to Terrence Davis to kind of backfill those minutes. Miami side, Jimmy is out still. Yeah, he's still out. Bam is questionable. I would assume maybe he's not good to go. We'll have to wait on that Bam news. Tyler Hero's still out. So Lowry coming off a triple-double, massive game, 70 fantasy points, triple-double. At that price tag, not my favorite, but if all three of those guys are still out, you could definitely look to him. If Bam's back, I do like him a little bit. 8,400 is not the best price tag for him, but he's definitely in play. The secondary guys, Strus, I still think is very solid there at 6,100. Caleb Martin, okay. He did play pretty much the whole game. Still, only got 28 fantasy points, so he's not the best point per minute guy, but he's definitely worth a mention. And then kind of whoever takes on that secondary guard role alongside Kyle Lowry, whether it's Gabe Vincent, who is questionable, would have a good amount of interest in him. He'd probably be my favorite play if he's good to go. Or maybe it's like a Highsmith who was, didn't shoot the ball well, but still got a ton of minutes, very, very productive. Robinson will get minutes if Bam's out. Same thing with Jovic. So it really comes down to who's in and out. If it's kind of like last slate, I prefer getting to obviously Highsmith, Robinson, and Jovic over kind of those main guys. And then if Bam's back and Vincent's back, prefer just really getting to Gabe Vincent and maybe a Strus on the Cleveland side. We got Darius Garland at the top alongside Mitchell. I mean, they both have ceilings, but I just don't feel great at their price tags just because they kind of eat into each other's ceiling and usage, but you could definitely go to them if you want. I just don't love it. Mobley, Allen, they look okay to me. Love most likely will miss the games, so he should probably lose some minutes. It'll probably go up for guys like maybe a little bit of Okoro, but CD, Lamar. I mean, that's really it. There's just not a lot of interest for me on this Cleveland side. Maybe you could look to Lamar Stevens for some value. He's not a great point per minute guy, but yeah, just not a ton I like on that Cleveland side. Moving on to Memphis, Brooklyn. Jaw's out, Bane's out. So Dylan Brooks going to be the leader of this team. Jaren Jackson Jr. is out. He looks great there at 6,200. We know what we're getting from him. He's very score independent, but should be chucking like 20 shots up. Contract looks solid, 5,600 as value. Tyus Jones, pretty much a must play. As we saw that one game, I think it was versus Washington. He started 36 minutes, 7 of 18, 33 fantasy points. So 5,200, really think you need Tyus Jones in your lineup. Obviously going to be super, super chalky, but that's definitely what you need. Steven Adams seems priced a little bit too low. Obviously, Brooklyn could play small, but we saw that last game versus Brooklyn. He still played 31 minutes. Obviously not going to shoot the ball a ton. It's Steven Adams, but he's solid to get rebounds, solid to put him back in. So don't mind getting to him. He's a solid tournament option. Santi should be a decent tournament option. As we saw versus Brooklyn, put up 27 fantasy points. Good shooter. He should see closer to 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more now that a Triple J is out. So, yeah, really like these Memphis guys as well, alongside the Detroit guys as like very solid pieces to build around. Brandon Clark looks very solid there, 4,300. I would assume maybe his minutes have been trending up a little bit. But yeah, I think he gets 20 to 25, kind of in that range. Roddy and LaRavia, they should probably see about 15-ish minutes. It's pretty much just the kind of the main starters for me on that Memphis side. Brooklyn, Durant 11-7. Don't really think you need to get to him with Kyrie back, so I do prefer getting to Kyrie in this matchup. Kind of like the revenge game narrative, just for how the media has treated him and how everyone's treated him. I do think Kyrie's going to want to come out and prove everyone wrong. I do like Ben Simmons a good amount here as well, 5,700. Played 32 minutes, was very aggressive, got a double-double, close to a triple-double. Did foul out, so he's very foul-prone, but love that price tag for him. I do think you can definitely load up on this game. Great game environment. And that's really it. I mean, you can get down to guys like Joe Harris and Seth Curry, but now with Kyrie back, that offense is really just going to flow through him, Durant, and then Royce O'Neal. If he was like 5K, I'd have interest, obviously coming off that triple-double, but don't think you need to force it now that Kyrie's back. Golden State in Houston. It's pretty much just the Steph Curry show, and that's really it. So he looks like a solid pay-up option. Yeah, great game environment, great matchup for Steph. I do like Andrew Wiggins a decent amount. A nice bounce-back game there for Wiggins. 32 fantasy points. Obviously, he doesn't have a huge ceiling, unless he's kind of, getting that double-double with points and rebounds, but don't mind him. Draymond Green, Clay, I guess they're always in play just because, they do have a decent ceiling if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which they really haven't been doing this season. Same thing with Poole. If you guys want to force him in your lineups, I don't hate it, but it's really just Steph or Wiggins for me. Looney, no. Lamb, he's seen the minutes just with Dante back. Yeah, there's just not a lot of love on the side for me with how they're playing. Houston, KPJ, I do like him a good amount if he's back. The price tag is up to 7,800, so it is a little risky. Jalen Green priced up because KPJ was out. He was pretty bad as that starting point guard, 2 of 10, but he still has very solid upside. KPJ's out. Really like Green. They're back. I think they both make okay plays. Interest in Sengun, he did go through shoot around, so it looks like he should be pretty solid to go. I do have a good amount of interest in him, 6,700. He'd probably be my favorite play. If he's out, they'll probably start, obviously, Jabari Smith, KJ Martin, Eric Gordon, Green, and maybe KPJ if he's back. Otherwise, Green and maybe a guy like Garuba or Eason. Most likely Garuba would have interest in him, but we could definitely see Eason, getting a good amount of run off the bench. So it really comes down to kind of, that Sengun and KPJ news, kind of in order for us to kind of decide how we want to attack that game. Moving on to Denver and Dallas, we have Jokic still out, Jamal still out. MPJ, I don't mind running back here. I know he's been brutal the past 2 games, 1 of 8, 4 of 15. Yeah, just been god awful. I mean, we know he's a great player. We know he's a solid shooter. Just look at his box scores. I mean, yeah, he might be forcing it a little bit more now that he's kind of relied upon to score, but that price tag is just way too cheap for a guy in his position. Gordon, if he's back, I guess he looks okay. Prefer getting to MPJ. I really like Bones and Bruce. They look very solid with those guys out. I like getting to both of them. Bones came off the bench, didn't start, but still saw 27 minutes. Very, very productive when he's out there. So I think he still makes a very safe play. And I do like getting to Bruce Brown. He looks great as well there at 5,700. That's really it. Jeff Green saw 27 minutes. You can go to him as a very solid value player at 3,300. Jordan, I just want to do it. I'd rather get to Jeff Green. KCP saw 34 minutes, so he looks decent there, 4,800. But yeah, I do like a good amount of those Denver guys. Dallas side, if you can get to Luka, don't mind it. Obviously, they just played him, and he did great, triple-double. So he does have the upside. But yeah, it's just a little too tough to get to him, especially with how the value on the slate is pretty much all guys in that 5K range. So it'd be pretty hard to get to a guy like Luka and really feel great about your lineup. But you could definitely make it work. Don't hate that. Dinwiddie, Wood, just priced up a little too high for me with Luka there. You'd always get to Tim Hardaway Jr. He's been decent the past 2 games, but not a ton of interest. That's really it for me on that Dallas side. And moving on to the last game, San Antonio and the Lakers. Vassell was out. I'm assuming he should be good to go for this game. We'll have to see. But everyone at their respective price tags don't have a ton of interest in them. You could take a shot on guys like, Bassie, Bates Diop, and Roby is like forced value if you want to for some reason, but I really don't think you need to do that. Value doesn't look great today so far, unless we get a few guys, ruled out. Davis looks great in this matchup, coming off of 3, huge games, 56, 63, 70. Going against this Spurs side, I think he looked fantastic. LeBron may be back. If he is, it does limit Anthony Davis a little bit. So really prefer getting to Anthony if LeBron's out. You could still get to Russ if LeBron's out, but it's really just Anthony Davis on the side for me. That's it. Dennis only saw 15 minutes. I'm surprised by that. I'm assuming things will kind of grow. His role will grow as he's out there. 15 minutes. I assume he'll probably take over that starting point guard role within the next month or so. So yeah, if you want to take a shot, you can definitely go to him. Do expect him to get more involved, but might be a little bit too early on that. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think all the interest is kind of in those 5K guys from, the Detroit side, from the Memphis side, and from the Denver side. You can pay up for the studs if you want, but I don't mind getting just to a bunch of guys in that 5 to 6K range and having enough upside to have a takedown for tonight. So that's video, guys. A little bit quicker. This is probably the guys I'm going to start rolling with, and then obviously you have 5,900 left over to kind of plug and play and go from there. So if you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe, turn that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.